Yeah.
Welcome back again to the finals. Game 4 between SFAD and DoV Chaos here. And what an absolute series it's been thus far. Game 1 and 2 looked super close, but Game 3 had DoV Chaos just running all over SFAD from the very first minute here. Random Minion Caster, and I'm excited here for Game 4 as SFAD now struggling to make this one a full 5-game best of 5 here. Should they lose here, they are going to give over the seat of reigning champion over to DoV Chaos. And for DoV Chaos, they're looking to try and close this one out best they can, getting revenge for their loss in the regular season and securing themselves that title of Demacia champion here. And hopping straight into the picks and bans, SFAD on the blue side for Game 4. They're going to continue with the Rumble Corki, and this time they're banning out the Thresh here. So they're leaving the Echo open as well as the Caitlyn. They're banning out the Thresh instead. They do end up banning the Echo and Fizz in the last round there for DoV Chaos here. They're banning the Set. The Senna, I'm not sure what the third ban was, but there was actually a third ban there. Oriana and Syndra banned out as well here. And SFAD, sure enough, first pick that Caitlyn that has been such a priority pick for both of these teams throughout the series. Game 1 and Game 2 revolved very heavily around who had Caitlyn, and this time it's going to be SFAD with Rookter on that Caitlyn. They pick up a J4, Lulu, Yasuo, and Cho'Gath. So this is a Yasuo composition here, and I think it might be the first one we're actually seeing in the playoffs completely here. We did see, I think, an AD Yasuo, but I can't quite recall. Oh, I think that was in the silver division though, not in Demacia or Noxus here. So this is what I think will be the first Yasuo composition we're seeing in the gold division, and I'm super excited. They've got knockups in every single lane here to enable Unknown Temptation to really pop up. And Unknown Temptation, unfortunately, this series has been suppressed by Dolphin Judas here in the mid lane. Unknown, usually one of sort of the major carries. Usually he doesn't do as much damage as Rookter, but nevertheless is extremely key. And the fact that he was suppressed in games 2 and 3 here, one of the major reasons why DoV Chaos were struggling. But now they've got the AoE, they've got knockups, they've set themselves up for success here in the early and throughout the mid as well. And for DoV Chaos, their reply to this is going to be the Ashe, Braum, Ornn, Zac, and Akali. So Truedoc insisting on sticking on this Ornn. He has been struggling a bit with it in lane, but has been huge in the team fights. Has missed quite a few of the Call of the Forged Gods though, and that's kind of big issue. If you can't land the Ornn Horn, that's a lot of utility taken out of Ornn's kit here. And now the Zac for Sonic Abs. Interestingly enough, he's not opting for that Fiddlesticks, which did so much work prior, instead going for another knockup. And I think a lot of this game for DoV Chaos here, their composition not going to be quite as strong in the team fights. They have a lot of utility in it, but I'm just afraid that they won't be able to survive getting hit by a 4-5 man knockup here to set up for that last breath from Unknown Temptation. And the Ashe Caitlyn matchup again, this time it's going to be Ashe for Dolphin. It's the other way around. Rookter lost on the Ashe against the Caitlyn. We'll have to see if Dolphin can do any better here and see if he can win that bot lane matchup mid lane. Judas going with the Akali doesn't fit the composition at all whatsoever, but I guess that's the counter pick to Yasuo. And if Dolphin Judas can win that mid lane matchup well enough, he might be able to shut down that Yasuo composition by attacking the core of it, the Yasuo itself. But other than that, their synergy is looking weaker than SFAD. So shoes on the other foot this time. I'm expecting DoV Chaos to try and find some way to sort of win the early game and prevent themselves from losing that mid team fight phase where SFAD is looking so scary right now. And actually, with the composition that SFAD has drafted, they could look for an early level 1 with that Rupture, but it looks like, again, no level 1 invade. Both these teams playing it pretty safely, pretty carefully here. A little bit surprising that we haven't seen anything wild come out of SFAD. In the regular season, they were one of the teams that were known to be very aggressive, especially when Cassidy was in the jungle. They'd often make some really dicey plays. But with Jayster, they've not been doing that so much. Mid lane, we saw some dancing between Jayster and Sonic Abs, but Jayster, unfortunately, going up, getting that first auto off. No sportsmanship, tisk, but will not matter too much. Sonic Abs will be just fine. That one auto not going to mess him up too much at all. We are seeing, again, very aggressive wards coming out from the side of SFAD. They've done that all 4 games thus far. And it is important to track the Zac early because of the ganks. Last game, not so much on the Fiddlesticks, surprisingly. Though Sonic Abs did certainly gank early and often on the Fiddlesticks there. But it was a bit more difficult, I think, to track it as to where he was going. Because it was kind of random where he decided to finally pop up there. And I'm very interested to see specifically how this bot lane is going to go here, because this Ashe-Caitlyn matchup is becoming a little bit more prevalent with the nerfs now to Aphelios, to Ezreal, to Varus. Teams are not favoring them quite as much as they used to here. So we're starting to see them go down towards the Ashe, which was sort of the counter for Varus a little bit there. And now Caitlyn coming up as well, with some of the buffs coming up to her, as well as how strong she is in lane. We are seeing an early gank into the mid lane from Jayster here. Flag and drag will not find anything. Instead, he's going to eat a turret shot for his pains there. Not the gank, I'm sure, that SFAD wanted to see going off there. We did see Cassidy winning this top side against Trodoc multiple times, but it was usually on the Poppy v Ornn here. Does seem to be doing quite well thus far with the Cho'Gath into Ornn, but it's a lot closer here. He's getting brought pretty low in terms of health, so does have to be careful. Northbolt now going to get some deep vision down here. They want to make sure they don't get ganked by Sonic Abs, and with the slingshot range, you have to get some deep wards down, or you can't really tell where that blob is going to come out from here. And that ward is going to catch Sonic Abs moving through the jungle. So I expect to see Rookter and the Northbolt play a little bit more carefully here. Want to make sure that they don't get caught out. Instead, it's actually going to be mid lane where Sonic Abs is looking to throw his first gank here. Unknown Temptation, I don't think, saw where he was going. So should be an easy gank. No slingshot being charged yet. There we go. And the knock-up coming in right away. The grab as well means he's not going to be able to go anywhere. He does dash away. The knock-up comes down, and the flash should be enough to keep him to safety for now. But that is the flash blown from Unknown Temptation, and we might see a revisit gank into the mid lane here from Sonic Abs in the near future. And right now, Unknown Temptation has found himself a significant lead in that mid lane, but that'll have to go on hold as the flag and drag lands onto Trodoc in the top lane. Rupture as well. Trodoc now sat in the middle of 2. Can he get out? No flash available this time. First blood going over to Jayster. A good start here from SFAD, especially in that isolated top lane where Trodoc already used his teleport. So he's going to have to walk back into lane. It's going to be a long, lonely walk of shame there. Meanwhile, mid lane, Judas had the counter pick. So this Akali is a counter pick into the Yasuo for him. And he's still down about 10 CS right now. Not necessarily the best of starts here, especially considering that this is a Yasuo comp that relies extremely heavily on Yasuo becoming a huge monster, getting those beautiful setups, 4-5 man knockups, followed up with a last breath to absolutely decimate in these team fights. We did see Sonic Abs attempting to repeat the gank here while the flash is still down. Did not manage to find anything. And Unknown Temptation actually running the exhaust here against Judas, looking to try and trade the 1v1, cut the damage, and win back the fights. And it's a 1,000 gold lead at 5 minutes for SFAD right now. It's I think the biggest lead they've had this series. Now the question is just, are they going to be able to close out on it here? We saw how effectively DoV Chaos can strangle once they have a lead in that game 3 here, but now it's going to be on SFAD to prove that they can do the same. And in this bot lane, again, the Caitlyn seems to be the better one in this matchup between Caitlyn and Ashe. The long range is able to bully out Ashe a little bit here. And despite the Braum for Lo-Fi Warden, he's not really able to block a lot of that damage. Is trying to trade back with those Winter Fangs. And it is going to be now Sonic Abs in here. The flash coming out of Rookter really early, but he will get pulled in, will get sent up, and will go down. Now Northbolt trying to run away. Does that. A beautiful glitter launch to slow all 3 members, and will be able to dodge out that Frostbite. will be fine for now. But Jacer has arrived. The exhaust coming down. He's looking for Dolphin here. And Dolphin just going to back right out. He's way too low. Anything could take him down. He's got no summons left whatsoever. And so Jacer coming in will not be able to find anything. He blows his flash for really just a disengage where Northwolf was already safe. Now the trades continue into that mid lane here. Unknown Temptation is 6, but he does not land the knockup. Now he has to be careful. Ignite coming down, the exhaust coming down onto Judas as well. Judas sat in the middle of a whole bunch of minions. Jacer coming in. Can he land the flag and drag? No, he can't, but he does get the flash out at least from Judas. That means no summoners for Judas for now. And this mid lane right now, so volatile. Two champions who just want to kill each other, and they are more than happy to go at it. This will force the base out of Unknown Temptation. The flag and drag comes across from Jacer once again, does not land, and so Judas going to continue being safe. Meanwhile, in the top lane, True Dog did go down to Cassidy in that 1v1 there. The feast coming across, and actually Cassidy did not manage to get a first stack on his feast, so it looks like his feast miscalculated there, does not get himself the feast stack. And Jacer continuing to push his advantages with that level lead. He's on to Sonic Abs this time, knocking them up. Rookter here to join as well, but Sonic Abs able to pick up the scuttle for now. The flag and drag is going to come out just in time. Are they going to be able to get this? Yes, they will, because last breath for Unknown Temptation lands, and that's going to be a second kill going over to Jacer. He's going to continue being in the lead, and Sonic Abs having a really rough game for the start right now. He's a level behind and about to lose the Ocean Drake to the side of SFAD as well. Really, the narrative of this series so far has been who has the Caitlyn and who has the early jungle pressure. We've seen the Trundles just not working out no matter which side picks them, because no early power or no early ganks built into their kit. We've seen the Caitlyn's seem to win out most of the trades here, and now we're seeing both of this happens to fall in favor of SFAD. So SFAD looking really strong right now in the early game. They had a 1,000 gold lead. It's now 2,000, or just shy of a 2,000 gold lead, with the Ocean Drake in their back pocket as well. Nyx Drake going to be Cloud Drake, so we might see yet a Mountain Soul come out this game, like we did in Games 1 and Games 2, or we might see Inferno, which would be absolutely deadly for whichever team can get a good lead. A good Unbreakable from Lo-Fi Warden to block that Pilt over Peacemaker from hitting onto Dolphin there, but Dolphin is taking a lot of damage for now. They're trying to set up for Sonic Abs. Judas here as well will get spotted out, and Sonic Abs coming in does not land the slingshot, but can he land the pull? Yes, he can. On to the Norfolk. They split their attention for now. They just need one more auto. They get it, and that's gonna be Rookter going down. Cassie teleporting in, but he has to be careful that he doesn't teleport into his death. Jacer now looking for the engage. Does have Cataclysm available. He's gonna flag and drag. The Cataclysm catches Dolphin. He's dead immediately here, and now Sonic Abs trying to buy time, but he's got no passive, no cell division, means he's gonna go down. Northwolf picking that one up. It's a 2-for-1 trade right now in favor of SFAD, and Unknown Temptation getting a lot of alone time in this mid lane as well. Gonna continue being able to farm up. He's now got the level lead onto Judas, which might turn out to be a huge problem, because that lane was already so back and forth. If he gets himself a lead, 700, 600 gold lead here, along with a level lead, we could see that mid lane swing the way of SFAD, which would be an absolute problem here for DoV Chaos. And this will actually have been the first game we see where Unknown Temptation really winning that mid lane here. It has been Dolphin Judas who has been winning out these extended laning phases so far for the side of DoV Chaos. And that's honestly not what we expected coming into the game. Both Unknown Temptation and Judas known to be really strong mid laners in the Demacia division here. So finally Unknown Temptation fighting back a little bit, not being that doormat to Dolphin Judas. And that might just be the key they need to just dominate this game for here. And the gold lead has been accelerating at almost just shy of about 1,000 gold per minute and a half right now. We're now starting to look at almost a 3,000 gold lead for SFAD. So looking like they definitely know how to snowball a lead for themselves. The BF Sword and Pickaxe coming out here for Rookter in the bot lane once again means he's going to have that much more damage than Judas, who did opt once again for the Manamune build here. Flag and drag coming off from Jaster. Will not be able to find anybody. Cassidy was also there. They were looking for that 3v2. Cassidy right now able to roam. He's actually up in CS and levels as well onto Truodoc. So definitely in a very solid position. The roaming not hurting him too much either. But Jaster has to be careful. He's going in for Sonic Abs. Does land the flag and drag. Whose bot lane is going to get there first? It looks like it will actually be DoV Chaos with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow getting it there first, and he's gonna go down. The wall growth not enough to save him. Rukter didn't even want any part of that, just stayed away, was farming, did not help out his jungler at all. And that is going to be Jaster going down, handing his bounty over to Judas in that mid lane as well. Cassidy over chasing a little bit, will ultimately go down to the turret there. The greed coming up from SFAD costing them as both their jungler and their top laner overextend and end up feeding kills the way of DoV Chaos. They were on track for about 1,000 per minute and a half, but suddenly that closes down a little bit. From that 3,000 gold lead, they're now only about 2,000 ahead. Still a sizable lead, but not as much as they otherwise could have had. Really good from DoV Chaos to collapse that quickly as well. Judas being there made all the difference. That bot lane of Dolphin and Lo-Fi Warden coming up as well, making sure that Jason didn't really have anywhere to go. And now they're looking for another gank into mid lane. Flag and drag going to be able to catch Judas there. The exhaust was used onto him. The Cataclysm as well. Going to blow the flash out of Judas there, and out for a flash. Worthwhile trade any day. That's a 2-minute cooldown for a 5-minute cooldown there. He'll still have another 2 chances to try and catch Judas in the Cataclysm. And bot side, this range advantage starting to come in handy here. The ace in the hole coming out will be blocked by Lo-Fi Warden there. So Dolphin going to be fine for now, but has to be careful. He's kind of low on health. Does have the heal flash available as well though, so will be nice for him. Jaster will get spotted out by the ward. They know it's a 3v3 down here, so on the side of DoV Chaos, they have to be careful not to get dove. Sonic Abs is there, but I don't think he can stop necessarily a dive. Instead, they're going to turn around and go for that Cloud Drake, go for that 10% cooldown reduction. And while before Jason is a 2-minute cooldown on that ultimate, well, now it's going to be a little less than that, closer to about 1.5 minutes instead. And Sonic Abs right now has caught up in levels with Jaster. That's great for him. Can actually start to contest stuff for now. It still is down about 1,000 gold there. And in that bot lane, we're starting to see a bit of a lead developing here for Rukter. About 600 gold as well for him. But again, the lead's not as bad as they might have been because of those kills going over the way of Dolphin Judas in that mid lane there.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Top side, Cassidy might have died, but he's still stronger than Truodoc. You can see him just bullying out Truodoc there. That is the Glacial Augment Cho'Gath, so not the Grasp of the Undying, which has infinite skilling and a huge burst. Instead, he's bringing utility to the table. Has the GLP completed as well now, so will be able to just sort of engage with Truodoc in those extended trades, get him down before he just feasts on the remains of the Ornn. And after quite an explosive early game between that sort of 6 to 10 minute mark here, the 14-minute mark sees a slowdown in the game pace here. They're all farming, but we do see the Infinity Edge coming out from Rukter, and you saw how much that chunk, the Mana Immune now being completed for Judas, should start stacking quite quickly for himself, but till it's fully stacked, he doesn't have anywhere near comparable amounts of damage to that Infinity Edge here. We now see Sonic Abs sneaking in once again. He did this last game as Fiddlesticks, the game before as Sejuani. Now the question is, as a Zac, can he find anything here? Lo-Fi Warden hitting the trap. He's looking for the slingshot. Will be able to land in a good flash from Rukter to keep him alive, but Northwolf does get tagged up. They get the stun as well, and I don't think the Northwolf is going to be able to get out of this one here. He does ultimately go down. Sonic Abs able to pick up the kill on that one there, and the Brute Force gank works beautifully in the bot lane. Sometimes you just can't stop it, even if you know it's coming there. Now Rukter left alive is going to continue farming up for now though, so despite Northwolf going down, it's not the end of the world. They do also manage to pick up Herald though on that top side, knowing that Sonic Abs was in that bot side. So they trade a kill for Herald. Turret plates are down, so unless they get first turret with that, it's not necessarily the best of trades. We'll have to see. Ace in the hole comes out. Lo-Fi Warden going to body block that one there. The heal from Judas, from Dolphin there, just to make sure that he doesn't go down, and Shelly is going to get dropped into that mid lane, which is already low from all the pressure that Unknown Temptation has been putting out here. And the knock-up comes out. The good Shroud means that Unknown Temptation not quite able to follow up on that one there. And that's actually going to save him from Sonic Abs looking for a gank over the wall. And Jaster now, he's been the one to not be able to find ganks in the most recent couple of minutes here. Might get collapsed on even by Sonic Abs, who goes on to the North Pole once again. A good flag and drag catches to him. We see the teleport coming in from Truo Doc here. Can they find anything? The teleport being matched by Cassie. They will be able to. Truo Doc finding the North Pole. The knock up onto Jaster means he's low, but unfortunately that rupt the GLP from Cassie doing work. He finds 2, he finds 3. It's a triple kill for Cassie. Can he find 4? Judas is alive and trying to trade with him. Sonic Abs there backing him up as well. No feast available for Cassie. Rather than the blast orb, he did use the flash instead. Will ultimately finally go down there, but he did manage to pick up a triple kill. It's a 4 for 3. Not the best here for SFAD, but not the worst either. They did pretty darn well, and they did pop the passive off of Sonic Abs, pardon me. Turret should be healthy enough, most likely will not go down here. Instead, it's that top lane turret for DoV Chaos that's in trouble. As Unknown Temptation was just pounding away at it the entire fight there. Unknown Temptation 0-0 and 1 has decided to go full PvE for now in the early game. He's built the Phantom Dancer already, so has quite a bit of damage, but will be looking to try and complete his second item, I think, maybe before he starts joining these fights. Has the BF sword already as well. And he is actually the richest member in the game right now. It's 6,800 gold, followed by Cassie with 6,005 here. Judas, the next one on the board, first one for DoV Chaos at 6,001. So you can see that SFAD, their 3,000 gold lead here is starting to show substantially. Lo-Fi Warden getting caught out, but he's moving fast enough. Will be able to get out just fine with those Merc treads there. They can't continue to slow him down, so will be a-okay. But that is the last standing outer turret here in this bot lane, and I am expecting SFAD to start throwing some attention down there, looking for ganks. We see Cassie here, the Rupture lands onto Sonic Abs, the Polymorph as well. They will get the Glitter Lance to continue the slow, but that will be all she wrote for now. They aren't able to continue following up. Instead, they're setting up for the Infernal Drake, and it is going to be Infernal Soul here. That's going to be absolutely massive for whichever team can stack these Infernal Drakes up. The traps coming down makes it very, very hard. The last breath comes out onto Judas. He's going to get burst down before the fight even started here. And Sonic Abs getting that jump over the wall. Rukter will get caught, will go down as well. The Cataclysm actually kind of hurting a little bit. Jaster does manage to pick up Sonic Abs though, and right now it's just Truodoc and Lo-Fi left alive. Dolphin did go down in the midst of that scrum, and this should be Drake going the way of SFAD. So a bit of a messy fight there to start. Sonic Abs and Jaster, their ultimates having completely anti-synergistic effects there. The Cataclysm actually caught Rukter in it, but the Let's Bounce from Sonic Abs knocked Rukter kind of out to safety a little bit. If they had just left Rukter there, he might have gone down even faster than he already did. But when all is said and done, the two teams are now dead even in kills, 11-11. But SFAD winning out in gold and in dragons, more importantly. They are at soul point for this Infernal Drake here. In the first major team fight we saw, we did not see the last breath come out actually and catch multiple targets. It was just on one target, just on Judas. But to be fair, it was a key target because Judas is the most fed member of his team. So taking him out right away before he could do really anything at all was key to just cutting the damage. And Dolphin went down shortly after that as well. It came down to Truodoc with that Brittle Stack, with that Flamethrower, really pumping out the damage in that fight. And that's why you see a score now 3-3-3 after that big 5v5 there. And now again, I was expecting attention into the bot lane. Surprisingly, they're not going to do it. They've instead sent Rukter and Northwolf into the mid lane, where the mid lane inner turret is just an auto away from going down. Instead, they've sent Unknown Temptation down there. Jaster there to back him up as well, but little do they know, Sonic Abs waiting in the wing. They're starting this 2v3 up right here. They get the knock up here onto just one. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow being blocked out by a beautiful wind wall here. And Unknown Temptation desperately trying to set something up. Can he find anything? The North Wolf is here as well, but Jaster already did. Unfortunately, not the way they wanted that fight to go there. Jaster was just buying time, and that means that DoV Chaos finding themselves a 1-for-0 kill with absolutely zero repercussions, as Rukter was not in position to punish and take that inner mid lane turret. And you a bot lane. Unknown Temptation gets actually the 2-man knockup. The last breath comes down. He picks up the bot lane of both Dolphin and Lo-Fi. Warden out of nowhere. He gets the kill. Mid lane though, Call of the Forge God comes across, and that will be Rukter going down. It's going to be a 2-for-2 here. Top side. Cassie seems to have Juice's number. He's tanky enough to survive. The Rupture comes out, does land, but the shot means no full-up available, and that is going to be the bot lane turret going down in favor of SFAD, while the mid lane going to take a beating here from DoV Chaos. I was just going to say, you'd think SFAD would have learned by now that Sonic Abs loves to come out of this bush over here, of this sort of area, and you think they'd have started warding deep. We did see North Wolf warding deep, so why not ward that bush instead? It's cost them multiple kills here, and where before SFAD looked like they were in an incredible lead, they've kind of stalled out. They're sitting at about a 4,000 gold lead, when at 10 minutes they were at a 3,000 gold lead here, so not great to only gain 1,000 in 10 minutes. But nevertheless, they are still in the lead. They do still have the stronger individual hit-to-hit matchups across every single lane and the jungle as well for now. And now the Baron has spawned for the last 2 minutes, is available on the map. I do think the teams are likely to be looking at that as their major next objective, or waiting for the soul as well. Inferno coming up in a minute and a half. In the meantime, they seem to just be content farming rather than trying to push and get objectives like such as this mid lane in a turret. But that being said, leaving a turret available with very, very low health can actually be a huge bait sometimes for teams, because if you try and fight under the turret, one auto takes it down and suddenly the protection you thought you had is non-existent. Rukter picking up the blue buff here, interestingly enough, and now Jacer has to be careful. He's getting collapsed on by 3. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes across, a beautiful flash to keep him safe, but let's bounce from Sonic Abs here, buying time. He's going to turn around Cataclysm into Dolphin, and instead of fighting, he was trying to hide at the edge. The Call of the Forge God being used, and Unknown Temptation did go down as well in that bot side against Judas there. I think the Enchanted Crystal Arrow actually did end up hitting Unknown Temptation there, which was very, very, very unfortunate there. It looked like he was able to get away till the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, which missed. Jaster picks him up, and that's suddenly 2 members down from SFAD, and suddenly Baron, which should have been SFAD, is now looking like DoV's prize here for that fight. North Wolf, Cassidy, and Rukter here on a mission to try and stop this. Can he do it? It is going to be Judas coming out, trying to stop Rukter for now, but the shields are going to keep him safe. Cassidy looking from the edge, and they don't quite have enough damage. This is not that Blade of the Ruined King build. This is the Manamune build instead. Flash out from Rukter. Is it going to be enough to keep him safe? No, it's not. The pull together as well. The Wild Growth comes out. He does at least manage to find Dolphin, so the 2 ADCs trading here. Now Cassie's here with Jaster. They've stalled long enough. Lo-Fi likely to go down here as Jaster looking for him. The Rupture comes out. Will not be able to land on anybody here, but Cassie is on the hunt. Sonic Abs going in. He's going to be low. He's going to go down. The passive, though, being used here. And Judas actually able to find North Wolf in the back of that. There's not enough damage, and SF80 just slowly getting killed there. Will go down. Jacer not able to find Lo-Fi Warden, who's been just dancing amazingly around the edges of this fight here. Words are starting to fail me. He just dodged out everything. Danced around with low health for the entirety of that. And SFAD, who normally have shown themselves to have sort of the better micro in-game mechanics, ends up just dropping all across the map here. And instead, it is going to be DoV Chaos picking this up 4 kills. Just looking at the top side, not including the bot side fight that started. They don't get Baron, and they do lose Soul, though Unknown Temptation went over and picked themselves up the Inferno Soul. So despite that bad fight for SF80, they are still in a good position to try and close this one out here. And for DoV Chaos, they are on the back foot. They are up in kills right now. So what can they do to sort of close this series out? Well, simple. Get Judas that isolated 1v1 against Unknown Temptation, because we saw him basically win that 1v1 in that bot lane there, in the isolated lane. He's now 7-1-1, and while before Unknown Temptations did seem to have his number, Judas seems to be back in the game right now with that 7-1-1, still down about 1,000 gold, just over 1,000 gold because of the CS differential. Unknown Temptation doing a great job with that, but able to try and fight him now. And if you can isolate and take Unknown Temptation off the fight, even if you can't kill him, just remove him from the fight so that his last breath cannot win fights. Because you saw, without that last breath right now, SFAD don't win the 5v5 here. And Rookter not able to really remain safe. Jacer has shown himself to be a little hypey this game as well too. So definitely could potentially take out, bait out Jacer for an engage there, which ends up being turned on that 4v4 without the Yasuo. But for now, looking like we might see a full-on 5v5 here. And Jacer, again, that's what I'm talking about. He gets hypey, he walks in, and he gets knocked up for days here. He's trying to get away, but will not be enough. The Wild Growth comes out to try and keep him alive. Enchanted Crystal comes out, but the knock-up was huge. The last breath catches 3, and they managed to burn 2 down immediately. Rookter on the side looking for the 3rd. He doesn't get it. It's going to be Unknown Temptation picking that one up instead. And suddenly a 3-for-1 in favor of DoV Chaos. And they're going to be able to pick up the Baron finally here for SFAD after winning that fight comprehensively. That's exactly what they wanted to do. Force a situation where they all grouped up for that last breath. And with the Infinity Edge, with the Blade of Lunar King, you saw how quickly Unknown Temptation just cut right through Truodog, Sonic Abs, and Lo-Fi Warden there. All the tanks were down right at the start of that fight. And DoV Chaos cannot afford to fight in these choke points. It just comes down basically to Yasuo, and it surprises no one that they're fighting a Yasuo composition here. Yasuo is the key. You need to stop him. The exhaust will be coming up for Lo-Fi Warden just right now, so they need to exhaust Yasuo as soon as he goes in. Cut Unknown Temptation's damage. If not, they'll have a hell of a time trying to do anything here. And Rookter with that Runan's Hurricane is going to be absolutely massive in these fights as well. Jacer can afford to just throw himself blind into bushes if it allows him to find these sort of great 3-man engages, 4-man engages, 5-man engages for the rest of his team. And right now, SFAD looking poised to close this one out. They've got themselves a huge lead right here. With the Baron buff, they're pushing in as well. Pardon me, and unfortunately for Dolphin, he just does not outrange. Rookter can look to poke him out while he's trying to clear minions here. Judas, not a great wave clear on the Akali either, and you can see how much damage is coming out. Enchanted Crystal Arrow came out, but it landed on Cassidy, and he's a very, very tanky Void monster that got himself just shy of 3,000 health here, and can easily heal back up. Runan's not necessarily a popular choice on Caitlyn, but it's extremely, extremely strong, especially in these sort of siege situations. Call the God coming out, but the Wind Wall able to stop it there. The exhaust coming down, and they stop the last breath? It only catches 1. That's great for them. They trade the mid laners here, but Rookter is in the backline. He's free firing for now. It's a battle of Runan's Hurricanes. It's looking like Caitlyn wins because she's got longer range. The Twin Shadows lands onto Dolphin. He's slowed down. Is he going to continue chasing? Cassie just running in here. The Rupture not able to land, but the ace in the hole comes out. And doesn't matter that you're in your base, you're in your fountain, you're healing up, you still go down there. That's one Nexus turret that they're now pushing in for the other. Is this gonna be game here for SFAD? It could very well be. Truodog coming in, does manage to get onto Rookter, but it does not manage to get the kill. And now Rookter just focusing that turret. That's gonna be game. Game 2 going to SFAD. And ladies and gents, we have ourselves a full best of 5. Game 4 closing out in dominant fashion. And again, SFAD 22-22, but they're up about 9,000 gold. The kill score right now not telling the story at all. DoV Chaos showing that they're really good at finding fights. And they're really good at trying to even things up here. And I think I said the opposite in game 1. So both teams really very, very similar in what it is they do. When they're behind, they know how to pick a fight. When they're ahead, they know how to close out a game. And it's just coming down to SFAD constantly finding leads, advantages in lane. And this time, it was not the Rookter show. He was 4, 6, and 10. And granted, he did do a lot of damage here, but he was outshadowed in kills by Cassidy, who ended up 7, 4, and 10 there as well. And Cassidy, I think, did not do quite as much damage. Most damage still went to Rookter, but Rookter this time was not the key. It was Unknown Temptation. If you can't stop Unknown Temptation from popping off on the Yasuo, well, you lose those team fights. And you lose objectives. And just for SFAD, they knew they always had a major objective to take every time they want to fight. They got the Inferno Drake, even though they lost the Baron side. They win the Baron fight, they get the Baron, they push into the base. And SFAD just putting on an absolute clinic there on how to close out. They did struggle though in the mid game. Jacer often getting caught out of position. Unknown Temptation as well. So game 5 right now looking like it could be anybody's game. After game 2, we said it was a basic reset into a best of 3. Well, now we're looking at a best of 1. Winner takes all in game 5. Cue that silver scrape.
Stop hitting me!